Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to the 14th AFD International Research Conference on Development. Thank you for joining us from all the different parts of the world. I'm Asha Sampath, a journalist on CNBC, and I will be the Masters of Ceremony during the next 2 days of all the open discussions that we will have. We are more than 1,700 connected people gathered here today from almost 94 countries to explore the role of public development banks in the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goals. We are excited to conduct these debates in the framework of the first Finance in Common Summit, a summit which will gather for the first time ever all public development banks, along with public leaders, private sector representatives and civil society advocates in a common endeavour towards a positive future for our planet. We are here today to highlight the crucial role that public development banks could play for building a more efficient, development-oriented financial architecture. In addition, in the light of the current crisis linked to the COVID-19, which prevents us from being here, physically gathered today, we'll look at the contribution in paving the way to a sustainable recovery. Why it's important? Well, because it has never been so urgent to recognize and to boost the role of the public development banks as fantastic agents of change. Our discussions will be based on the findings of the 16 research reports produced by the International Research Initiative on Public Development Banks, which is composed of 28 international researchers from the most prestigious institutions and research centers. They have presented their work last week during the academic days. So today and tomorrow, we will build up on their conclusions. The objective, of course, is to draw concrete recommendations for policymakers who will gather at the Finance in Common Summit on November 12th. You can, of course, download these 16 research papers from the Visible Hand platform and watch the replay videos of today and tomorrow's sessions on the platform, as well as on the AFD YouTube channel. Well, we count on you to take part in these discussions through the Send a Message box, where you will be able, of course, to address your questions to the speakers. Of course, a couple of them will be picked, and we'll try to, take as much as we can, depending on the time, of course. And you will, of course, have the opportunity to get in touch with all the registered participants through the live chat tool on the platform. So finally, please don't hesitate to share your insights and to spread the word about the event on social media using the hashtag VisibleHand4Dev. I would also like to thank academic partners without whom this conference would not be possible. The Institute of New Structural Economics at Peking University, the Institute for Sustainable Development and International Relations, and the Foundation for Studies and Research on International Development. And now, after having said that, and to kick off this conference, I would like to turn and welcome Rémy Rioux, the Chief Executive Officer here at the AFD. Thank you, Rémy, for having us here.
Yes, welcome, Asha. Welcome to everybody.
Right, Rémy, my first question is quite simple. We all know about the invisible hand, so can you tell us a few words? Why the visible hand?
Yes, the invisible hand is the metaphor that was used by Adam Smith, the economist, to explain that the market's supposed ability to adjust instantly, immediately. And we know this is not true. We know it, we see it in the COVID-19 crisis.
Absolutely.
We see it now that we have to implement the Paris Agreement and the SDGs. And actually, it's never been true. This is what we see in each and every country. So what the conference will establish strongly is that the governments, the societies, they need visible hands. They need visible hands to reconcile short-term and long-term, to spur the transition. And the public development banks, well, they are visible hands at grassroots level, local, national, regional, international, multilateral. They are there and they want to do more.
Right, so probably everybody who's watching us today would like to know, what are the ambitions of this conference in light of the challenges that you've underlined?
Science is the word, truth. And so we need evidence-based recommendations to policymakers in order to push the ambition, to clarify the mandate, to align what public development banks are doing with, again, SDGs and climate. And I really want to warmly thank Professor Stephanie Griffiths-Jones from Columbia University, Professor Jiajun Xu from Peking University, my colleague here at AFD, Régis Maraudon. They organized the fantastic work on the academic side for more than a year now, and that's splendid, and it will be an integral and crucial part of the Finance in Common Summit 2 days from now. So we will take all the work, the research papers, your contributions today and tomorrow to feed in the discussion with the leaders and with colleagues of CEOs of public development banks. And of course, today, tomorrow, please do challenge the public development banks, do challenge their shareholders, their supervisors, their stakeholders. We're not there yet, but again, we want to do more, we want to do better, inspired by research.
Absolutely, and we'll of course hear a little bit from the people that you've just mentioned. They will be joining us in the show later. So having said that,
yeah.
what are the main outcomes that are expected?
For me, the main outcome is really to install this notion, this I would say encompassing concept of public development banks. This is absolutely crucial to know who we are as a community in order then to structure and to move further. And of course, I invite all of you to explore the database, the first ever comprehensive database of all the public development banks we will launch today. To see the magnitude actually of what the firepower of what we are talking about. We even mobilized artificial intelligence to try to begin to measure how we align with SDGs in each and every institution. So that's my main take. And then of course we will listen to all the discussions, all the recommendations from project takers to project makers, how to mobilize the private sector, what is the best possible governance for public development banks, and could we imagine, I would say, methodology, a taxonomy for SDGs that goes beyond public development banks, because in the end it's not the PDBs in themselves that is interesting, but it's their capacity to reorient the whole financial system in the good direction.